Today, I want to talk about dealing with negative emotions. I feel very led to talk about this today because of two conversations I had this week. And when I go through the week like that, I have a conversation that kind of dominates the week. I think it's always important to focus on such conversations. For me, it's always an inkling towards what I need to talk about on the podcast. So we haven't finished the week right now. We've just done about, I think, 4 days. And I've already had two conversations that lean towards one thing. So I think it's very important for me as a spiritual leading to address something. So I want to talk about dealing with negative emotions. I got a message from one of my mentees, and he was telling me he's dealing with some negative emotions of sadness, emotions of anger, emotions of just feeling down and heavy. And he can't shake it off. He just goes through the day just feeling down and sad and burdened. And the second person that talked to me about this was my daughter. My daughter told me earlier this week that, Dad, some days I just wake up and I'm just angry and I'm just sad. Nothing has happened, but I just feel sad and angry. And I don't know what to do. I don't know how to control it. I just wake up and I'm just sad. And it was a conversation we were having because I was like, sometimes I just realized in the morning she just has a down looking face, not looking cheerful. And I just said, sometimes I just wake up sad. Just wake up sad and angry. I don't know what it is. It just seems like it just has control over me. So I sat down with my daughter and I told her three things which I want to share with you today. Three things that you can do about negative emotions. Negative emotions, an emotion of just despondency, sadness, overwhelming worry, overwhelming fear, overwhelming anxiety, overwhelming anger, overwhelming regret. And you just can't put your finger on anything that has happened. But it just seems like something you just wake up into. And it takes the whole of the day. You cannot shake it off. It pervades your entire day. It strains relationships and your perception of your life. There are three things that I want to talk about that would help you overcome negative emotions, because this is something I've been through too. But then I had to learn about negative emotions. Your life starts in your mind. So your emotions are very important. Your emotions are a gift, but they've been twisted to work as a weapon against you. So it's like an autoimmune disease when your body starts working against itself. And I want to tell you what you can do to deal with negative emotions. And this is what I shared with my wife and my mentee, or my daughter and my mentee. The first thing we must know is tomorrow starts today. Your tomorrow starts today. Very important for us to keep that in mind. If you're going to do well tomorrow, you must start today. Tomorrow starts today. There is no difference between tomorrow and today. The only thing that separates our tomorrow from today, in reality, is this activity called overnight sleep. Sleep. We sleep at night, wake up the next day, and we are in tomorrow. You see, sleep is a very good thing. It helps rejuvenate the body, but it's also one of our biggest weaknesses as human beings. Sleep. Sleep has great benefit to our body and our minds, but it's also one of our biggest weaknesses when it comes to spiritual warfare against the devil. That's why it's impossible for you to win against the devil without having God on your side. When I see people who don't have a relationship with God try to confront a spiritual entity like the devil, they stand no chance. And I think a great thing that makes them disadvantaged is sleep. As long as you sleep, the devil has an advantage over you. As long as you sleep, you can never be considered as powerful as long as you sleep. Nobody is powerful as long as they sleep. Nobody. Because when you sleep, you're vulnerable. When you sleep, you're unconscious of what's going on around you. Sleep is downtime, which the devil doesn't have. The devil doesn't sleep. So he doesn't have that downtime of inactivity. All human beings do. As long as you sleep, you are weak and disadvantaged. But you have to sleep because your body has been conditioned to sleep. That's one reason why you need God. We need God because God doesn't sleep. That's why only God can contend against the evil forces in your life. Yes, maybe in the physical you might contend against them and battle them and resist them, but you will sleep when the mind cannot resist anymore. Then you are totally down, and then they will play and sow whatever they want to sow in your mind and in your life while you lay there inactive. You are free game for them while you sleep. That's why you need God. If for no reason at all, for that downtime, when you know not what's going on and you're just vulnerable, you need a spirit that doesn't sleep to counter the negative spirit that also doesn't sleep, that's aiming to end your life. Now, why am I saying this? Tomorrow starts today. The negative emotions for tomorrow are already being cooked up today. They're already being cooked up today. By this evening, they are being dished out. And by the time you sleep, they are being served to you. You wake up with a taste of that concoction called negative emotions. Immediately you wake up. You've consumed it already while you sleep. And that's why it's very important for us, before we sleep, to commit our emotions for tomorrow into God's hands. This is one thing I had to tell my daughter. And the exercise we had to start this week with my daughter. I told her, let's agree to do this every night. When the family has prayed and everybody has said good night, you and I would go together and pray together. And pray concerning tomorrow's emotions. And say, God, as I sleep, pervade me with good emotions, that I wake up into that cloud of good emotions tomorrow. I might be feeling good right now tonight, but I know the devil is concocting something. So, Father, whatever is concocting, let it be overcome by what you've prepared for me tomorrow. Let me wake up into a cloud of good emotions tomorrow. Prepare the atmosphere for tomorrow tonight. You need to know that tomorrow starts today. Those emotions you are feeling in the morning did not start that morning. They were prepared for you overnight. You just walked into it. You need to begin to prepare your emotion for tomorrow. Call the emotions you have tomorrow. Do you have a test? Pray for emotions of confidence. Let it be waiting for you tomorrow. Because you can sleep confident tonight and wake up fearful tomorrow. It can be corrupted. That confidence that you cooked up tonight while you sleep can be corrupted. So cook up confidence. Commit it to God. Say, God, prepare confidence for me tomorrow, that once I wake up, I feel the taste of confidence in my mouth. Do you want to feel joy? Tell God, joy tomorrow as I wake up. Prepare for tomorrow today. Negative emotions, a lot of times, do not happen at the point when we feel them. They have been prepared while we weren't paying attention. So the first thing is be conscious of tomorrow's emotions by sowing good emotions tonight as you sleep. Call those emotions you want to feel tomorrow. Call them tonight and see how you wake up into them tomorrow. The second thing, when you want to deal with negative emotions, it is to be conscious of your content. Your content during the day. Be conscious of your content. I've done a podcast on content before, and I told you there are 3 types of content. There's interesting content, informative content, and instructive content. Be conscious of your content. A lot of us spend time getting interesting content. They just interest us. They make us laugh. They spark up emotions within us. They entertain us. A lot of times it's at a cost. That's where a lot of us pick up negative emotions from this interesting content. We keep watching, but they have very, very, very little value. We watch other people's lives and we're entertained, sowing seeds of covetousness within us. You love it while you're watching it, but when you walk away, you disdain your own life because you were so much interested in somebody else's life. Some of us are so endeared to informative content. Nothing bad in informative content. Nothing bad in interesting content too, but you need to know how much of it you're consuming, if you need to consume it at all. Informative content just informs you about things. Some of you are so news conscious. You love news so much. What's happening in China? What's happening in Pakistan? What's happening in this? What's happening everywhere? You know where wars are happening, how many people have died, what the unemployment rate is, the new strand of disease out there. You are informed. So these things are affecting your emotions. You need to be careful. And in that podcast, which I advise everyone to listen to, talks about 3 types of content. I talked about instructive content. Content that allows you to work on your life. Gives you an instruction for you to activate in your life. Gives you a project, an assignment to improve your life. Keeps you thinking about what you can do to improve. So it keeps you assessing your life. Assessing and saying, am I doing this thing that I was instructed to do? Instructive content. You need to watch your content. Content plays a huge part in our emotions. If you're feeling a particular emotion, just go back. What have I been consuming in terms of content? Music plays a big part in the emotions we feel. Music, very incredible, strong force. That thing called music. It puts a burden on us. And if it's good, it lifts a burden off us. A lot of us don't understand the power of music. Music is a very big tool in the hands of the devil and a very big tool in fighting the devil. Music. You see, I used to be a very, very big fan of hip-hop music. Right from my late secondary school years, all through my university years. I loved hip-hop music. I loved rap music. I think rap it's really underrated in terms of the level of creativity that goes into writing a rap verse and communicating with rap. It really enthralled me. I'm a big fan of the genre. And I know a lot of young men too are big fans of the genre. But it can be a very dangerous genre. Rap, hip hop. It can. It's the reason why a lot of young men are angry. It's the reason why a lot of young men have misogynistic tendencies. It's the reason why a lot of young men prioritize material things. It's the reason why a lot of young men go into violent crimes. Because contemporary hip hop music celebrates this thing. That's the truth. Celebrates it. Celebrates a lot of terrible vices. And I remember this period, I was in university, and there was this record called I think it was the Slim Shady LP. The Slim Shady LP, I think, was the first record from Eminem. The Slim Shady LP. And it came out first time I've ever heard this guy called Eminem. He was so incredibly gifted. I've never heard anybody rap like him, ever in my life. Never. It was another level of hip hop. For me, another level. Never heard it before. It was hypnotic listening to him tell stories about his life and rap like if he was having a conversation, while still keeping his syllables, his rhyme, his rhythm, everything. And I was like, this was so enthralling. And I remember getting the CD, and I listened to it and listened to it and listened to it and listened to it. And it was so, for me, it was entertaining. It was entertaining. It was interesting content. And then, I started becoming a big fan of him and listening to his other albums, the Marshall Mathers LP and stuff like that. And I started listening to it while I started to work when I got into graphic design. So I used to listen to him a lot. The full album on my laptop. But I realized every time I listen to him and I'm working, when I'm done working at the end of the day, I feel angry. I feel angry. I feel upset. There's just a cloud, a dark cloud around my mind. I feel angry, upset. I feel detached from my family. I feel irritable. I feel sad. And I realized it was every time I listened to that album. Every time I listened to the album. While I listened to the album, I felt good. But immediately I stopped, I felt terrible. I felt anger just welling up in me. Just angry. Lashing out. Because music has a spirit. A lot of us, your emotions is linked to the music you listen to. I hear a lot of the music that's out there today, even Nigerian music, and it's the reason why a lot of people feel insecure about their relationships, their romantic relationships. It's the reason why a lot of people feel insecure and unachieving. They feel insecure about their financial status. We need to listen to better music. It will really help your emotions. It will. It actually would. Music is a great force in shaping our emotions or poisoning them. Choose your content carefully. Choose your content, who you listen to. To be honest with you, even these days, listening to religious leaders, especially pastors, it's unfortunate to say this, can put a lot of pressure on us. Seems like they are motivating you, but instead they're just putting pressure on you and your level of achievement in life. You listen to a pastor, watching a pastor, you might be saying what is right, but then look at how he's dressed, dripped in designers from head to toe. Louis Vuitton this, Gucci that, and you're watching him, but then in the end, you look at your life and you disdain everything in your own wardrobe. Shows you his car and every time, and then you need to go out, you need to go in public transport, and you think how terrible your life is. Because the pastor has said something good, but has shown you something that has put pressure on you. Flamboyant lives. Be careful of your content. Your content affects your emotions. The third and final thing I want to talk to you about in dealing with negative emotions is acting the way you know you should act and not the way you feel. Going against the way you feel and acting the way you know you should act. Your emotions are powerful things, but I want to have you know that your emotions do not automatically control your actions. That you feel sad doesn't automatically mean you must act sad or look sad. That you feel angry doesn't automatically justify you acting angry or lashing out. That you feel fear doesn't justify you acting fearful. You can decide your actions. Your actions, a lot of times, plays a huge part in deciding how you eventually feel. Your actions. Your actions. They are a big decider of your thoughts. A lot of us think thoughts go before actions. Not particularly. Actions are the final decider of our thoughts. I learned this a couple of years ago. You see, slightly over 3 years ago, my wife told me that we were expecting our third child. So she came to me and said, oh, she thinks she needs to do a test. And she did the test and it was confirmed that she was pregnant. And we had 2 children at that point in time. And I had a boy, I had a girl. I know, so I had a boy and a girl, what are you looking for again? So, to us, we had closed shop. You understand? We had closed shop. That's what we wanted. Picture perfect looking family. Boy, girl. That's cool. So for me, when I got this information, it didn't sit too well with me. And that's me, that's me dressing it up. I didn't accept it well. I wasn't angry, but then in my mind, I was like, oh man, Tola, what did you do? What have we done? I felt a lot of anxiety because immediately I started thinking of expenses. Oh, one more mouth to feed. Oh, one more person to send to school. Can I cope with this? Because my life had become comfortable with the 2 we had. I became so sad. For my first 2 kids, excitement. But for my third kid, I'll be honest with you, When I heard the news, I was sad. I felt serious anxiety, serious one, anxiety. And when my wife is pregnant, usually for the first 2 kids, immediately she tells me, we confirm that she's pregnant. Every morning, I would go to her and I would put my hand on her belly and I would talk to my kid. I would speak words of life and talk. And I had the habit of giving them a name, a pet name. I never just called them baby. I had a name for them. I would just call them a name, a pet name. And that pet name sticks with them for a while, even after we named them officially. But then I'll give them a name. And I will build this bond every morning, just go and pray for the baby. But when she told me about this one, I didn't do it. I just couldn't get out of that anxiety and that fear and that feeling of sadness. I just didn't do it. First week, didn't do it. Second week, didn't do it. Month, didn't do it. The belly started to grow. And I didn't do it. Because I was so sad. I didn't want to have another baby. So I let my sadness dictate my actions. So I didn't pray or talk to my baby. I didn't build a bond. Then one night, I was about to go to bed. And as I went to bed, Spirit ministered to me and said, Tola, the same thing I started this podcast with. Tomorrow starts today. If you let this anxiety and sadness and anger take you through this pregnancy, when this child is born, this child will be estranged from you. You would have no relationship. It will be tense because you are preparing your tomorrow today. So do the right thing. I would never forget that night. Spirit told me clearly. Spirit corrected me. Do the right thing. Don't act how you feel. Act how you should. And so the next day, woke up, negative emotions still there. Anxiety, fear, anger. And then I remembered what the Spirit had told me. Don't act how you feel. Act how you should. So without feeling like I wanted to, immediately my wife got up from the bed. I remember she was in the kitchen. I went to the kitchen and I put my hand on her stomach. And I said, good morning, baby. And a name came to my mind and I started calling the baby that pet name. I didn't feel like it, to be honest with you. I didn't feel like it. No, it's not like I did it with joy, but I knew it was the right thing to do. And the next day, incredibly the next day, the anxiety was still there. The fear and the anger was still there, but it was less. So I saw my wife again. First thing, put my hands and spoke to my baby and blessed the baby. And this time, a little bit of me wanted to do it. And by the end of that week, I joke not, didn't take more than a week. By the end of that week, I woke up eager, no anxiety, no fear, eager to go and bond with my baby. At the point, whenever I woke up, that was the first thing on my mind. Oh, my wonderful baby. Anxiety, fear, gone. It wasn't like I was making more money. It wasn't like I imagined more opportunities, but I actually acted my way into better emotions. And I started being so excited. It became almost the highlight of my day. And I started looking forward to when this baby will be born. I was so excited about it. And today, me and my last son, We are so close. Daddy was the first thing he said. We are so close. Sometimes when he hails me, my wife will be like, what's wrong? What's up between you and this your daddy? What's up between you and your daddy? There was a time when he started eating, he would only allow me to feed him on the table. Only me. And every time I experience moments of intimacy and closeness to him, I always remember, Tola, you would have messed this up if you allowed your emotions guide your action. Sometimes, a lot of times, you need to act. You feel sad, but then put on good clothes. Put on clothes that make you happy. You feel sad. Pay somebody a compliment. You feel sad. Do something good. You see, you would realize that the emotions will change. The action determines the emotion. You might start out with emotions that seem negative, but always act in a positive way. And watch as the negative emotions evaporate. They blow away like clouds. Watch your actions. When we do these three things, we will see that we struggle less with negative emotions. First of all, before you sleep, sow the emotions you want to feel tomorrow. Commit them to God's hand as you sleep. Secondly, watch your content. Interesting content might be compelling, but consume less of it. Informative content might have some way of drawing you because you just want to be informed about some things. Be willing to turn your face away from some things if it's just information. Instructive content allows you to focus on your life, to actually be active in building your life. Search for them. And thirdly, remember, you don't need to act how you feel. Act how you should. And very soon, you begin to feel good. My name is Tola T.A. Alabi, and this is the TA Podcast.